I was so hyped for this season 4, and then I was like, uh, I don't know how to explain it because there are 2 episodes left, so I'm gonna wait.
Season 3, you could tell it was a situation where the show was still good. It's not terrible, but you could tell it was starting to become more of like, okay, we just got to keep making this. How do we figure out a way to just like
Yeah.
make this show keep going?
Like season 1 was like Twin Peaks, it was like what's
Mhm.
happening, and as you said, the casting is just wow. And it's a small, closely knit group of characters that it's
Yeah.
easy to identify with them. Okay, we can follow them all, and it's a nice story. Then, as they expand more and more, like this season 4, there's so many characters. I mean, my God, like I don't care about half of them at this point.
From my life to the paper, very accurately.
Welcome back to the QC presented by thequickcritic.com. I'm your host, Swanka Burnett, and I'm joined by Jules, all the way from Italy. Jules, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
And Nikita. How's it going,
Hey,
sir?
hey, hey. All great, all great. Ready to discuss some fun TV series.
Good stuff. Yeah, we will be right back with you guys after a quick word from our friends.
This is Luke Goss, and this is one of my favorite places to check out all things movie. Check it out. This is the QC.
Hey, this is Nick Smith. You're watching the QC, the best in entertainment, reviews, and more. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Impressions, thoughts on episodes 1 through 4, season 3 of The Boys?
Well, I mean, they in the first season they like set the bar here, and now they are here. So it's pretty crazy. I love this show because it's kind of well, with other show you can try to theorize about what will happen in the episodes, but I love that this show you just I personally just want to stay there and watch whatever happens and be amazed and overwhelmed by everything, and usually it happens. So it's
I mean,
happening
I have to agree. It's extremely unpredictable. One of the few shows out there that keeps you on your toes the entire time since you start, and then the logo comes up and the madness just begins. And as you said, it just keeps getting better and better with every season. And so far, the first 3-4 episodes were just wow. I mean, it's The Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead, Jules.
No, it's like every scene is like wait, that's too much stuff. Wait.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm really enjoying it. The fact that the show is very unpredictable is one of the main reasons why I'm enjoying it. And it really, to me, feels like a show that should be like on HBO, because they basically just took the kind of the Game of Thrones sex and violence concept and just applied that. Instead of swords and sorcery, it's just superheroes and supervillains, and it's great. And I love the fact that they're leaning into the hard R piece, and you just don't see that too much on TV right now with superheroes, right? Or at all. I can't really think of too many shows, if any, that are really doing hard R type content with superheroes. I made a list of things that we saw in the first 4 episodes that I don't think have ever been seen on television before. So tell me if you agree with this. Okay. There was a sex scene with an octopus.
Yeah.
An octopus begging for his life. A man
Timothy.
A man walking inside another man's rectum. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there's more. An action scene where 5 people are killed with, let's just say, sexual devices. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Superhero themed sexual devices.
That's my favorite scene.
Superhero themed sexual devices. And lastly, a telekinetic hamster.
And we haven't seen the end of it, I believe.
Yeah.
So the show is just, it's I put a note here. It showcases a level of rot and corruption amongst the powerful and wealthy that really, in a lot of ways, parallels the real world. So depending on who you ask. So that's actually the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is, are there any? And we know the answer is yes, but I want to get your take on it. I was talking to a friend of mine about this exact thing, and she had basically given me a rundown that I thought was a very almost perfect of how the show mimics real life. She said the superheroes are completely contrived by a corporation, and all the corporation cares about is money. They control their look, what they say, who they say it to, etc. They intentionally mislead America about what's going on, but Americans don't look into anything further because they're intellectually lazy. The politicians are completely controlled by bribes under the guise of campaign donations, and therefore have no moral compass or loyalty to their constituents. There are no good guys in the entire show. Even the people we're rooting for are really evil in their own ways. So, what's your guys' reaction to that?
Well, it's extremely true and sad because in real life people can be very cruel, and there are no black or white. There in this show particularly, everything is gray. Everyone has a bad side, and it's very, very real, very human, and I like that in the show. But well, there are batshit crazy people like Homelander or Soldier Boy or something else, but everyone has done something bad at some point. So I agree. There are a lot of parallels from the show to real life. The other seasons too, they talk about Me Too movement, the racism, the politics, corruption, and I appreciate that. I think the response of the audience is not as much as strong as I expect it to be. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. There are people are putting their attention on something else, like the violence or the superheroes, but these topics, these things, these parallels are very strong, and people are like, yeah, okay, but yeah, violence, sex, whatever.
Right.
I think personally, I mean, while there are certainly parallels with the real world, I think the most, astonishing thing for me is that how these writers are getting away with literally mocking every single thing there is in the world right now. Like they're out there portraying, let's say, we have to address the issue of racism. Why? Not because it's wrong, but because, okay, we need to have some rating system and we're going to get some positive response. So everything is done for these ratings, like how it is in real world, ESG ratings or whatever you take. Every company is out there trying to show their inclusiveness, diversity, whatever, but all they care about is at the end of the day the shareholders, which is exactly what this show does. And Amazon, I'm sure, is no different. One of the leading companies in that, probably. And in this twisted way, it's always bewildering how every single season is just they address all these topics and they mock everything in the world, and they still like get away with it all. But I mean, that's the entertaining part, because it's not really about the, let's say, the sex and the violence at this point. It's more about these subtle things that, they send us hints and messages, and we're like, okay, that's how it connects to our world. But at the same time, I mean, wow, it's just wild superhero stuff, as you said, brains and explosions.
I think the Homelander speech is the fourth or the third episode. I don't remember. It's
Third,
very the third one. I think it's very strong, but because of that, because he says something, he's saying that he's controlled by other people and he's the most powerful being in the world, and that's very strong.
They had that scene with the commercial with A-Train. That was almost a direct lifted directly from the commercial in the Super Bowl with I think it's one of the Kardashians, where she gives
one of the Jenners, I think. The one that everyone roasted left, right, and center.
Right,
it was
yeah. And it was still like, you would think that the fact that they did it almost exactly the same way wouldn't be interesting, but they still did it in a way that I thought was they're really just kind of poking fun and needling society for all these things that we do that are ridiculous, that we just kind of accept. You know what I mean?
The Snyder Cut. They make fun of the Snyder Cut in the the first episode. What was the first episode they say?
Yes, it was exactly when they open up with this whole movie theme they have.
Movie theme.
Oh, right. Yes.
It's like making fun of the release the Snyder Cut moment.
Yeah, and then there was a throwaway moment where he goes, "Oh, we'll just drop it on Vought Plus." So basically, just making.
Yes,
you remember that? Basically, making a joke that movies nowadays, like if they're not going to succeed, they just we'll just put it on streaming. You know what I mean? So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the just like the various different things that have happened and your thoughts on them. Specifically, the fact that they just had Stormfront. They had her kill herself, which I thought was very surprising. I didn't think she was even going to be back, but the fact that they just had her, she didn't really do a whole lot. She was in the bed and then she killed herself, and we never get. Sounds like we're not going to see her again. So.
Just like Hitler. Just
I
like
mean,
Hitler.
It was kind of honestly, I loved Stormfront in the second season. She was incredible, and then as a villain, and I was like hoping that secretly, I hope that Stormfront is alive. They'll bring her back somehow. And then they show her. I'm like, yes, jackpot, she's alive. And then they show there's half the body only left. So while the suicide was extremely surprising, I did not expect it to just be there for nothing. She literally, I don't think, achieved anything, unless they're planning something for the future, because maybe it's all a hoax and she didn't even kill herself. It was just to unhinge Homelander, let's say, because the whole plot seemingly is against him at the moment, as always is anyway.
We
Yeah, I
didn't
couldn't
see her
even-
die.
Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
if you don't see the body, but yeah, I couldn't even recognize her under the makeup. Like that could have been another actress. Like she was wearing so
Yeah,
much,
true.
makeup. But
All
yeah.
burned.
yeah. And then what about Homelight? What do you guys think about them going? them
That was nuts. That was
Very-
nuts. Yeah. Please go ahead first. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jules.
That was terrible. I mean, I know for sure there a lot of actors or actresses are forced to pretend to have a relationship with their co-stars sometimes, and that was very too real. It was like, oh my god, yeah, that was happening in real life. So that was very. Ugh. I have to say that Homelander and Anthony Starr in this particular season is very creepy. It's scary. It's very scary. It's difficult to watch.
It is difficult to
terrifying.
watch. It is, and what's interesting? So I haven't read the comic books of The Boys, so I'm experiencing all these characters for the first time. So I've done a little bit of digging to see like some of the characters' histories on Wikipedia since the show came out, but really I'm experiencing it for the first time. I don't have any preconceived notion, right? So when I started watching the show, I assumed, like a lot of people, that Homelander was just like, a superhero. He's kind of a, not a nice person, but I thought, okay, he's just a superhero who's a regular person. Not we all have good days and bad days, and then, ultimately I realized that, okay, this guy is totally out of his mind. And they did that kind of slowly, right? Or at least that's my recollection, that he wasn't totally crazy from moment one. Is that correct? Or was he
No.
always crazy?
No, it was more like a baby with superpowers, because he wanted to love. He wanted a mom. He never had a mom, so it's like yeah, poor thing. But now it's no,
Yeah, and
it's very scary.
Right, and the reason I bring that up is because they've just gone. I mean, he's just totally. I mean, he's like the emperor at this point. He's just totally straight.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming qualities. Like nobody in their right mind, I think, could identify with this person. Right? He doesn't have any human qualities. It's totally gone. So that's fascinating to me that they're going that direction, because it makes me think almost that the only way to go with only place to go with the character at this point is to maybe even try to redeem him in some way, because otherwise he's so far gone at this point. How can you develop the character? He can't really get any more evil, right? What do you think, Nikita?
Well, look, personally for me, Anthony Starr is the person you can't take your eyes off. He's on screen, and you're just holding your breath, waiting for him to just pull off something crazy. And then, but as you said, there's a lot comes back to his, let's say, how they showed how he was brought up, with these experiments and stuff, and how he was twisted and manipulated the whole time. And I think another interesting side to look at would be his son, who is also now being rejected by Butcher. Might turn up to be, let's say, Homelander Jr. But yeah, only time will show, of course,
I think at this point, Homelander, I mean, he's really the star of the show. You know what I mean? I think he's really kind of...
Unquestionably.
Yeah. Starlight is probably right there with him, but definitely Anthony Starr is really... I think this is a performance and a role that... It's one of those roles, I think, no matter what he does for the rest of his career, people are going to look at him and they're going to see Homelander, because it's just...
It's like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. I mean, that's it, That's fixed, poor guy. That's his whole life. He's Joffrey from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you guys think they were including, or they're still including A-Train in the group when isn't he depowered at this point?
is.
I think is slowly because of the compound. No, it took drugs. It took the compound in
His heart
the
will
last.
explode if he continues taking it, as far as I remember from the last
Yeah, yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah,
That's why he's not doing it all. Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, well, I think well that's I don't know, but maybe this could be kind of like real life when in some production they do. Oh, we need a black guy, and and doesn't matter if he has good power or not, but and it's like a
I
dickhead.
think
But
it is. I think it is exactly as you're saying, because as what the show has been showing, it's all for the ratings, and they
yeah,
cannot lose this
exactly.
audience, let's say, so they have to keep a train, even though he's useless. But I don't know why
Yeah,
they just didn't pick someone else. Probably because his name is, since he's one of the founding members, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken, of the Seven. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so too.
They tried with the new guy. The I don't remember the name. Why? Starlight friend.
The supersonic something. We didn't
Supersonic.
even see his
Supersonic,
Yeah.
powers. I was so bummed. We didn't even see his powers, and
Yeah.
he's already
Yeah,
targeting
I was wondering about that. Like, what are his powers? They never show it. He
Poor
just kind
baby.
of walks around and then he's dead.
him.
He reminds me of the other guy in the. I think it was I don't remember the second or the third season. The blind guy that
Oh yeah,
Homelander
that
meet,
was so
and he
funny.
does that with his ear and
And
the end.
goodbye, yeah, pach.
Yeah,
And then he was there and then he was gone that quickly.
yeah, the same vibe. Poor guy.
Yeah. So outside of Homelander, which of the seven are you guys most interested in? Which one story do you think is speaking to you the most?
Well, I don't think his story speaks to me, but I find the Deep so
Yeah.
funny. I mean, it's horrible. In the first season, it did some horrible things and is awful. And but while while you see everything that happens to him, it's like, oh my god, stop, please. It's too much, and it's fine. I every time he's on screen, I laugh. I hysterically. Everything he does is Timothy, the poor octopus, or
Yeah, it was so sad.
yeah.
How
So
can he the whole
it's
octopus is so huge? My goodness. Yeah, with
poor
the
babe.
He's like he has kids.
He has kids.
He has kids.
Or the whale. No, the what was it? Well, the dolphin, of course, in the first season,
yes.
and what was the a whale? They went
Yes, the
through a whale in the.
bloody diabolical. That was an insane moment. Yeah.
Every time I was like, "Whoa, what animal he kills now?" What? And so it's very funny. I don't know the story of the Deep, but I think it's quite interesting and funny. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree about the team because, for example, if we look at the other characters, okay, Starlight is obviously there, but she's kind of taking a back seat. Black Noir is useless. Queen Maeve as well. Nothing happens with her. A-Train, but forget about him. So yeah, Deep is probably the most interesting person outside of Homelander. But at the same time, they were talking about how Soldier Boy was Homelander before Homelander, but so far in the 4 episodes, we've seen nothing of this Soldier Boy that everyone's telling us he's so villainous. We've seen like a short flashback and that's it. So that's probably the only way I feel disappointed so far is because we haven't seen Soldier Boy in action. You know, I thought he's Captain America or something, but so far it's nothing. You know.
Yeah, it seems like they're setting up Soldier Boy to have more of an arc over the end of the season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, when I was watching his character, he's kind of giving me vibes of. So, did you guys watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier by chance?
Yes.
Yes.
So the U.S. agent character
Sadly.
kind of give me
Oh,
those
yeah.
vibes a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like just like very jingoistic, but almost like to a level that's like not healthy.
He was the only bright spot in that show, to be honest. Yeah. The only character I enjoyed there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll have to have that debate another time. But
Yeah.
yes, that show definitely had its flaws. But yeah, no, Soldier Boy. I think they're gonna lean into that character. I think more going forward. And I'm curious to see what they do with that and his relationship with Mother's Milk, and you know, clearly they have some kind of history together. So, which character?
Well, I read.
Why is he called that? I have no idea why he's called that.
Until now, I laugh every single time. Mother's
Yeah,
Milk.
we just accept it, but it's like that's the strangest name. For
No further questions. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's his name, it's a surname, it's a nickname. Okay, I've read some. I haven't read the comics, but I've read some scans because I'm a fan of Jensen Ackles, so I've read some scans about his character, and I don't think they will do in the show what he does in the comics because it's like too much, I think. But I don't know
There's nothing
because
too
this
much for the boys.
yeah. The episode 6 is a Herogasm, which apparently is the most crazy thing that ever happened in superhero history. So who knows? I don't know.
Let's see next week.
I think that's a good place to end. I appreciate you guys giving me your thoughts on the show so far and the craziness that is The Boys. Make sure you are following both Nikita and Jules. I'll have their social media information on screen for you to check them out. And yeah, make sure you're keeping up with the Quick Critic as well. thequickcritic.com. There's links to all our social right there on the front of the website. But yeah, thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.